Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of my hardcore series. In this episode, I figure out how terrifying raids can be, and it was a good experience slash bad experience, and I do hope that you watch straight until the end. If you enjoy, share this with someone else who you think might find interest in this video, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. As usual, I start off by farming of some potatoes to trade with the villagers to continue my journey. I trade with this specific farmer. I noticed this guy has a gold badge, which was pretty cool. I chopped a lot of wood, and here's like a short montage of me just chopping wood. It's a lot. I traded up all the sticks I had gotten from all the wood I chopped down towards the Fletcher, and then I found myself an extremely scary moment when my shoe broke. I panicked, but I killed the skeleton, and then I killed the spider right after. I lit up the cave. Oh, and hello there. Goodbye. I killed the enderman, and then I go on and get one of many unbreaking 3 books. I then combine this book with my protection and mending book, which was a serious mistake, and you'll see why later. Oh, and that's an invisible spider. I slowed it down so you could see. And then this is where I realized my mistake. I placed it and then I saw too expensive. I realized that I had put the enchantments in the wrong order, and I had to start all over and get new enchants for my boots. I also tried my leggings just to be sure. I stepped out of my house just to see that, oh well, these guys are having a good time. I just left them. As usual, I got to the serious business of getting iron, and this is my new way to get iron. I was about to burn the book, but I decided not to. Oh hello, I'm so short now. Oh yeah, back to exploring. Let me get to that right now. I found the first tree I broke, but at first I didn't realize this. But then when I saw the saplings, I thought, but nah, I didn't take too much notice. On my exploration, I found these turtles. I was very happy to see that there were still turtles in my world, and eventually I would come back to them and save the turtles. I also found this massive cave while I was just exploring as well. It was pretty huge. I did not want to go into that cave because who knows how many mobs there actually are in that cave right now. And along my travels, I also found a desert temple and a pillager outpost. And this rabbit died. I was very sad, and I collected its remains. I entered the desert temple and I carefully placed water down so that any mobs would go away. I then dug down into the temple's main room where all the treasure is, deleted the pressure plate and looted all the chests. The golden apples were really in my favor, along with that nice saddle which I could use for a horse someday. I took the TNT, of course, and then I was out. I marked the desert temple with the sandstone on top of it so I would see it on my travels. And then I went to the pillager outpost, and this is where it all started. This is where I decided to start a raid. I had a great idea. I could get totems so that I could be revived upon death. I looted the chest, and then I was hesitant to kill this pillager captain as I would get bad omen and therefore start a raid. So I decided to head down to kill all the other pillagers that were shooting me. I sent this one flying into a cave. The others were shooting me, including the captain. I took this pillager out, and then I decided I'm gonna start a raid, and I killed the captain, and I killed another captain as well that was there. Who is the pillager now? I have the crossbow. I win. I'll have the scary moments, but I'll also have some music over it. But then I saw the raid bar load up, and I took out the first wave. It was nothing too hard. Well, that is until I came into contact with the Vindicator, or this guy you're about to see on screen right now. He did so much damage, I was very surprised. I hit him away with my sword. I spammed my sword for him to stay away, and I ran. I was about to eat, but then when I realized he was close and would get a hit on me, therefore he could have possibly killed me, I decided to fight back and be very careful. Luckily, I lived. I got bad omen again because I couldn't find the last raiders from the raid we saw just now. Expecting a new raid, I entered the village with bad omen again, but then I realized the same raid continued on. My bad omen is gone. I double checked, and yes, then I realized I had come to the conclusion that I had to find the raiders, and so I did after a long period of time. They were all hiding in this little cave. I carefully took them out, and then I found this big ravine. I was very surprised, and then I saw a glimmer down in the dark, and then I realized it was a crossbow, therefore it was a pillager. I mined this block to get a better aim. I pulled out my bow, and I tried my best to shoot him. And then I found one of them right here. I killed him, and then I also found the other one while mining in this terrifying cave. I took out all the mobs from the cave, and then I realized that the pillager had fallen down the ravine. And I eventually saw him and killed him. I saw the raid battle load up, so I went to the surface as quickly as possible to meet the new raid and defeat it. With the new raid incoming, I looked behind me and then I saw this giant ravager rush up to me and do 1.5 hearts of damage. I was terrified and I realized this was going to be a hard mob to take on. I shot it with my bow as that was the best way to take it out without taking damage myself. I went in the water, and then I realized it was actually very slow in the water, so I could use my bow and shoot it very easily without taking any damage or any risk at all. I killed it and then I marched back into battle. Glitchy water, by the way. I saw the raiders charging at me with their crossbows, shooting many arrows at me. My armor resisted the damage, and I slaughtered them one by one after the other. I realized there was one more remaining, and then I saw him loading up his crossbow, and I took him out as well to start a new round. And thus the new round came. There were a lot more of them, and I was a bit worried, but I still took them out one by one using the same strategy. I would shoot them off from far away where they could not actually aim to get me because of their AIs. Some still got me, but it was okay. I tried to take out the witches because they were also healing them, which was really bad for me. I then continued, and I realized, oh, this guy was cheering, and his hands were up. No weapon in his hand. I then realized at the top of my raid bar, defeat. I had indeed been defeated, all the villagers had been killed. I went and I got bad omen to start a new raid at this exact same pillager outpost. I waited patiently for the pillagers to spawn, and as they spawned I would take them out for more to spawn so that I could get the one with the banner for bad omen to start a new raid. And there he was, the one with the banner. I took him out. I had bad omen. I still took out the rest of them because it's fun. My aim was pretty bad, but eventually my aim would catch up. I went back to the village to see if there were truly no villagers, and while I was roaming around, I realized that another wave had started. And now this is where things truly began to get scary. I waited for the bot to charge up, and then all of a sudden I could see them rushing at me. I continued to take them out one by one, and I was a bit more careful. I saw the vindicator behind me, and I was very careful to run away and attack. taking as minimal damage as possible. I tried to be precise with my hits and on point. I kept trying to find out a good way to attack the Vindicators, whether it was melee or with my bow. And then all of a sudden, I saw all of them just appear. I fought the Vindicator with my bow, realizing he got many hits. And all the other pillagers along with that other Vindicator was behind me getting hits as well. I imagined that my armor was suffering from this, and so was my health bar as well. But not as much as my armor durability. It continued on, and I heard the horn to see where they would come from, and there they all were. I was very surprised to see they all spawned right next to me, and the Ravager was rushing in at mad speeds. Realizing my health bar had dropped massively from full to below half, I ran away from the Ravager, and then I healed up some hearts by eating and fought the Ravager. His knockback attack sent me flying, but I still continued on fighting and I killed him. And thus, I had now truly been defeated. I felt anger and wanted to continue the raid, even though sometimes my health would get low. So back to the pillager outpost I got bad omen, and then I went searching for another village. But of course, as I was doing the other raid, it got scary really quickly. I saw two Vindicators run out of the door. I pillared up so that I could gain the higher advantage, and then I realized there was three? How are there three? I killed them off with my sword as quick as I possibly could. And then what is these? Another one? Where did this guy come from? There's 4 of them right in the same area. It was insane. I ate a golden apple. My hands were very shaky, and then this pillager came out with pathetic crossbow and tried to kill me. But it was failure, and I prepared for the next round. I indeed wasn't prepared. This Ravager did a lot of damage. I ran, shot it with the bow, but it ran up to me with swift, very quick pace. I hit a crit with the axe, and then it sent me flying. I deflected some arrows with my shield. I ran away, ate, and the Ravager got another hit. I hit him before he did his knockback attack, and then I went flying. I ran to try and take out the pillagers, as they were also causing damage. I ate once again so that my hearts could be restored, and I decided to take out some of the pillagers. I tried to eat a golden apple, but the Ravager got to me. I went to the water where I would most guarantee be safe, as the Ravager could not reach me. The Iron Golem came to my rescue and ate and completely destroyed the Ravager in all its tracks, as he bravely fought, even going in the water to potentially drown himself. I then continued on with the rest of the raid, killing a few witches and getting surprisingly attacked by Vindicators. My shield was low, my health was low, I was getting low on food, and I almost had little to no arrows. Things were not looking that great. I blocked in the villagers in their own houses so that they would be safe. And then I killed the last raider of this round. On to the next raid. I killed this pillager, and I realized the low durability of my shield. I decided to craft some planks so that I could craft up a shield. But then I saw this Ravager in the background and decided to take it on. I then realized that my shield broke. I ran as fast as I possibly could. I saw the Vindicator and I saw the Ravager and Pillager. I ran, looked behind me and ate so that my hearts could be restored. I then used my axe to try and kill the Ravager, and so I did. I then took out the Pillager, which rode it. I tried my very best to make a crafting table as quickly as I possibly could have, so that I could craft up 2 shields, not 1, but 2, so that I could have 1 extra in case this one breaks. Also, I didn't pick up the crafting table, it's just there on the floor. This is where everything got insane. I see this man running around at the literal speed of light, and then I realize he's the one who summons the Vexes, but he's also the one who gives totems. I tried to go in, but then I realized that they are far too dangerous, especially when they work together. I eat a golden apple, and then I go back and try and attack him once again so that I could get the totem. I went straight for him and didn't study anything else except for my health and hunger bar. And then eventually I killed him. I emptied out something from my inventory to get the totem. Immediately switched it with my shield by pressing F, and then I ate to heal hearts. Put up my shield to block whatever I could have, and then I went in to kill the rest of the villagers. I swung the sword at the Vexes to try and hit them, but my aim really wasn't the best and I generally could not hit them. I was very annoyed. They were so small and they flew through blocks and they generally just flew in the air. And then an extremely scary moment happened. I was fighting a Vindicator, just like usual, and he did a lot of damage. I used my first totem. And there it was, I saw Vindicators running after me. I was about to eat a golden apple when I decided it was better to just fight them head on. I was in extremely low health. I went to the water where I'd be safe. Well, I'd be safer than I would be on land. When my heart started to heal up, I went after this pillager and then back into the full on raid. I hit a Vindicator and then I ran away. I ate, and then I continued to fight him, taking damage, trying my best not to take too much damage. Realizing how slow I was in the water, I placed the crafting table down, and then I ran, ate, and then I was back in the raid fighting another Vindicator once again. I was panicking a lot, and you could see that in the club I definitely panicked. And then as I was looking for the last 2 raiders, I had indeed found them. One was a Vindicator. I took him out, and then after I saw the witch come through the doorway and then back out, so I also took her out. And then I continued on to the next round. I swung my sword at the pillagers as quickly as I possibly could have. I ran from the Vindicator knowing how much damage that he would do. I then carefully swiped my sword at the Vindicator and took him out. I ran to eat, and then I went back in at the pillagers. I fought them as best as I could, and then I realized I needed to kill the witch, as the witch once again was healing all of the pillagers. But first I was in low health, so I ate. And then I went back in. And after I took them out, I was back with the Evoker. This was by far one of the scariest mobs, along with the Vexers that it summons. I took him out, I had the totem, I put it in my orphan, and I ran and ate. Then in another run, I also found this Evoker and I ended up using my second totem extremely quickly. I could barely make out what just happened, and my brain was going to tell me just to run. I went in water thinking I'd be safe, but then I remembered about the vexes. They could fly, and that was a big issue. And the evoker fangs could still hit me, even through the water. I then tried to bridge across so that they would be slowed down by the water, whilst I was not. But the vexes kept hitting me off, and I couldn't seem to get my controls good enough to actually stay on it. I then went across, I took a break, I ate, and then I went straight back in. This had been by far one of the scariest situations I have ever been. The Vindicator hit me, the Ravager hit me, the Evoker Fangs also got me. I bridged across the water as best as I possibly could. I quickly ate, and I also ate a golden apple to heal as quickly as I possibly could. I ran out of the water, realizing that it slowed me down. I ran as far away as I could to be in proper safety, but the Ravager was quick and still followed me. I tried to take the Evoker out from on top of it, but that didn't work either. I ran as far as I can, ate a golden apple, and then ran away as my heart healed. Then when I was back, the Ravager had despawned, and I took out the Evoker, one hit at a time. I switched to Totem with my shield, and then I was victorious in taking out the Evoker, but not the raid. So back I was, and I was also back fighting another Evoker and Vindicator combo. I literally just ran. I had nothing else to do. I was on low food, and then I found this wandering trader. I took him and his llamas out, even though I was trying to protect the villagers. This is one I made an exception towards, because he didn't really live anywhere. He was wandering. And then I was back at the combo, where the Vindicator would hit me, and the Evoker would use his Vexes and Fangs to try and take me out. But there were two of them this time, and I ran. I was on one heart. I used the sand to try and speed me up, but as soon as I had recovered, I realized I had no food, no golden apples, and therefore I had to go get more food. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I really do hope that you enjoyed. Please share this video if you did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.